Hello, welcome to Pro Mixing and Mastering. Today I'm going to show you and teach you how to fix a bad mix during mastering. Of course, you can fix your mixes during mastering. Let's say maybe you had recorded a certain song, but it wasn't up to that standard. Of course, you can try your best to fix it during mastering, or a mastering engineer can try his or her best to try to fix it during mastering. So is it possible to fix a mix during mastering? Yes, I've got a song right here which was not really mixed well, and we are gonna try to fix it through mastering. Let me play this. So now that we have listened to the song, let's go ahead and fix this song. The first thing that I'm gonna pull up is Cubase EQ and show you guys which areas you can try to work on so that your mix can sound better and professional. So the first thing that I realized or noticed is this area right here. Let me play this. The tone is a little bit sharp on that area, so I'm gonna use a plugin for that. Then apart from that, I noticed certain places where the S's are too much. I'm gonna also use a plugin for that. Then I realized that certain areas the vocals were not consistent together with the instrumental. I'm gonna use a plugin for that. So of course you can fix your song during mastering. So let's go ahead and do this. Then apart from that, I realized that the song's volume is a little bit low, so let me pull up this section of the mixer and play the song. So I think we have headroom right here. There is headroom for mastering, so I'm just gonna boost it up just a little bit so that it can go higher, and I'm gonna use a plugin for that as well. So let's go ahead and start mastering and also fixing this song. So the first thing that you do is come to your stereo, come to your inserts, put our first plugin, and of course I said our first plugin is gonna be a plugin that will fix those places where the tone is a little bit sharp, and also we open up the vocal. And the right plugin for that type of fixing is an EQ. So let's go ahead and use an EQ. FabFilter Pro Q3 is the best EQ for this one. Then I'm just gonna take it to 30 dB. So let's go ahead and check out those places. You can see that around 2K area somewhere there, the tone of the vocal is just a little bit slightly toned up more or high pitched. So let's go ahead and control that. So I'm just gonna drag my notch just like this and search for that frequency, where the exact frequency is, where that frequency is, and try to drop it down. So I'm gonna use the sweeping method. We have found it around 2K area, so I'm just gonna reduce my pitch, my Q a little bit, and then drop it down, slowly drop it down to a level where the vocal will not sound too over toned. Now the vocal sounds much better, and that high toned frequency has been cut. I have given it just a little bit of negative 2.46 dB, and really there is a great change. So that's what I have just cut out. And now we are gonna go to the 1K area and try to reduce it a little bit, subtract it just a little bit to give the vocal and the overall song that professional sound. And this time I'm gonna use dynamic EQ. Use dynamic so that whenever that frequency comes in, the EQ is just gonna cut it down slightly, cut it down just a little bit. But first let's play it and do use our sweeping method. So we are just gonna drop it down just a little bit like this. And then use our Q to pinch it just a little bit so that the other frequencies are not affected. Drop it down. The reason why you use Q is so that you don't affect the rest of the frequencies. And after we have given our vocal 1.57 dB, this is how the frequency sounds like soloed. We are now just gonna come here and open up our little pocket and come to make dynamic, so that whenever that frequency comes in, this EQ is gonna dynamically subtract, cut it. Remember, we are fixing this as well as doing it to the instrumental, but not as much as it is done to the vocals. And now what I'm gonna do is go to the 10K area and open everything together so that the song can be brightened up a little bit. So let's go ahead and come to 10K area, 10,000. And now what I'm doing is that we are giving this bad mix some air, and also we are giving it that space so that everything can open up and start breathing again, life. We can now hear the snares hit professionally. We can now hear the highs coming out, and also the voice just sounds nice. So what I've done now is opened up around 10K area, and also allowed it to be slightly wider so that all these frequencies from 5K area to 20K can also open up a little bit. So we are not gonna cue it or notch it. We are just gonna leave that the way it is. Then slightly increase our cue, just widen it a little bit, and also cut it just a little bit. And now we have that place where the S's are just slightly too much. But before we move to that one, let's go ahead and try to glue the vocals with the instrumental, and just make the vocals and the instrumental slightly consistent. So I've got the right plugin for that, and the right plugin for that is Cubase compressor. So let's go ahead and pick up a Cubase compressor so that we can work on those areas that are not consistent, and some places of the vocal seems to like jump out, so we are gonna fix that as well. So this is Cubase compressor, and let's go ahead and slightly compress everything together. So I'm gonna take out HOD analysis. I'm gonna take it all the way to 100%. Then I'm gonna drop the threshold just a little bit lower. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the release to faster so that the compressor can attack and release very fast, attack and release very fast. So whenever that vocal comes in hard, the compressor is just gonna compress that vocal a little bit, and also together with the instrumental, and everything is just gonna be balanced and fixed during this stage. And after we are done, the song is just gonna sound much better compared to the way it came. So we have a faster release and also a faster attack. Then our ratio is just going to be on 2, and our threshold is just going to be on negative 11.0. Be careful with the threshold. If you whenever you take the threshold back, the more the compression is gonna take place. So make sure that your threshold is not too much. Then don't worry about the volume, there is a plugin for that. Next, there are places where the S's are too much. So what I am going to do now, what we are going to do is get a de-esser and fix the places where the voice is has too many S's. Like this place. So how do you do that? Just take the back the threshold, and then I'm just gonna come to this place and raise it up just a little bit. Okay, the high pass, so that we can locate where the frequency is coming from. So that frequency is right here. You can see it starting to kick in, or the S. So you take it to the place where the de-essing is kicking off, and that place is around 28 dB, somewhere here. You see that whenever the S's are coming in, the de-esser is taking place, but the instrumental has no S's, so it's not getting affected as much as the vocal is getting affected. So I'm just gonna put it slightly around 18 point negative 18. So this de-esser is just gonna help us. It's just gonna help de-ess on those places where the vocals come in with a lot of S's. So let's give it a range of 2. So right there, that place is okay. Then the other thing that I'm gonna do now is add a limiter so that we can raise the, remember I said the volume, whenever you notice that the volume is not too much, there is need for that impact, you just add your final plugin as a limiter and try to raise the volume to that place where your song starts to sound nice. So I'm gonna use FabFilter Pro limiter. This is more like your final plugin of raising the volume and all that. So let's go ahead and pull up our mixer and check out what's happening. Okay, so let's go ahead and raise it up just like that. Let's put it at 4.5. The song sounds much better, so let's put it right here where it's a little bit high. So there is that place where the vocals are many. So let's go back to FabFilter limiter and try to take the release to slower so that those places should not be popping out. So I think I'm gonna leave FabFilter right there. So our next plugin is gonna be our expansion plugin. So the plugin that you have to use is a maximizer. So let's go ahead and put in a maximizer, set it on default, come to optimization and just take it down a little bit to 22.0 dB. Ooh, is this not sounding much better? Now, I talked about the instrumental. The reason why I have not destroyed this part or removed much of this part is because I am preserving the law. So make sure you preserve the laws of your song. The only thing that you have to do is just cut it just a little bit, like give it a little bit of a low cut and cut around just to remove the lower muddy frequencies which you cannot hear. Check this out, you can't hear anything, so I'm just gonna give it this cut, and this is gonna help clean everything. And now we are gonna turn off everything and take a listen to before. The vocals were not consistent, everything was not okay, but now when we turn on everything and take a listen to this, chikuku chenu ngashili So guys, this is how you fix a bad song during mastering.